Good morning, UPB here from OptionMillionaires.com. Monday, October 7th. Futures are lower, but off their lows. They've been rallying since the European markets opened. You can see the bounce we've had since then, pulling back just a little bit within the last couple minutes. But you can see the action we've had over the last week. We started off same levels here. We're actually pulling up to what we opened at last week, and then we rallied up to almost 1,700. Now pulling back from the ramp we saw on Friday. Stocks were higher on Friday. The S&P 500 was up almost 0.75%, a little over 0.75%. This is the long-term 10-year chart for the S&P 500. And you can see we've broken above this long-term consolidation. We're up here. We're up here. We've broken out of this channel. It's very bullish in my opinion. But hey, let's do a little zoom in here and see what we're looking at shorter term. I still talk about this cup and handle. Obviously, this handle is going to be a little lower. At some point, it's going to negate this cup and handle thesis, but to me, it still doesn't matter. The prices for the S&P 500 Spider are going to be higher over the next couple months as we somehow resolve this disaster. My goodness, I mean, look at the drop we've had, almost $5 so far from all-time highs. That's dramatic. That's a crash. I mean, people have been calling for a crash over the last 5 years, right? Oh, the market's going to crash. Here we go. Yeah, here it is again. Yeah, so anyway, the market's not going to crash. But we are lower, so that's good. Anyone buying puts on Friday, doing good, but not on Apple. Apple is up. Numerous upgrades today. Analysts talking about the watch that they're going to come out with. I wish I could zoom in here without. There we go. And what I want to look at is the recent action. We're almost back, and we were flagging there for a little bit. We broke out of this channel, so I'd look for a move back over $500 this week. And actually, on my private Twitter account, I alerted the $500 calls at 69, 70 cents, something like that. And they're going to be worth a decent amount of money this week. So it's going to be a good week for apple bulls. Of course, it's a great time in the fall to be picking apples, but that's why we picked Apple. There's a private Twitter tweet on Friday. We have earnings season starting out. Alcoa, the headliner, right? But no, it's not even a Dow Jones Industrial Average component anymore. Alcoa has been booted. See you later, Alcoa. Goodbye. And you can see it's sitting at significant support. Let's see if it breaks. But either way, I don't think it's going to matter much. Nobody really watches Alcoa anymore. It's funny, a couple of years ago, there was an analyst on saying, oh, Alcoa is a $30, $40 stock. This is when it was still meandering around in the $10, $12 range. Look at it. To me, it looks like, and an analyst came out actually last week, put it like a $4 or $5 price target on the stock. So let's not get too excited. We have Yum Brands this week reporting earnings after the bell. This is the channel that looks like it's going to break to the upside. We'll see. Obviously, it could pull back to the 60 level, but right now it's channeling. Yum Brands channeling, consolidating after a really strong move up from $20 into 2009, 2008. So, but at some point, we'll break to the upside, as all stocks have done. The trend is your friend these days, so you got to stick with that. Meaning, the stock's going to head higher. That's it. Until we see the central banks globally realizing that the bubble they've inflated is unsustainable. But until that point, central banks around the world are going to manipulate their currencies, and they're going to print money. And that means higher stock prices because nobody wants to be in bonds. Let's go. We have Family Dollar Store this week. Family Dollar Store looks, again, bullish to me. And we can go to, we have Costco. Wholesale, look at that rally. Everybody's buying their goods in bulk these days. The stock is just off of all-time highs. And to me, I'll zoom in here. It almost looks like a cup and handle if I could zoom in properly. There it is. So that's the cup. There's the handle. So it's going to head higher. Costco. Let's move on to Friday. We have Wells Fargo, which is WFC is the symbol, and you can see it's been really stagnant over the last 5 or 6 months. A lot of financials, Goldman Sachs, after its spike, after getting added to the Dow, has actually fallen. We have J.P. Morgan Chase reporting earnings. I think if you're going to trade something for earnings, now you can look closer term here. Almost looks like some sort of a topping pattern. And that's what you want to look. If you have a stock that's up significantly, all right, we're in a channel, we break out. Look at this. We have a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. So J.P. Morgan Chase, I would stay away from it just for the time being. Let's see what happens. Earnings are before the bell on Friday. But to me, could head back to the bottom of this, to the top of this channel, should I say, at $45. This is a topping pattern, so it's just something to be wary about. Obviously, it's up significantly since 2009 when it dropped to what, $16, something like that. Let's move on to the following week. That's when we really start to kick off. We have Citigroup reporting earnings. A lot of analysts very bullish on the stock, continuing to the upside. We also have Yahoo. Yahoo is ramping to multi-year highs. The stock is gaining significant momentum. And look at it, it's more than doubled over the last 9 months. Beautiful moves. Let's see if earnings comes out and supports the move that the stock has seen. Then we have American Express. American Express kind of meandering here. But again, if you pull it up, that's a channel. It's consolidating. It's had a smart move up from, remember Goldman Sachs, when the stock was falling, had a $6 target on the stock back in 2009. So it goes to show you how smart the analysts are. And then they didn't know what hit them when Ben Bernanke said, well, we're just going to print money until the cows come home, or the bubble that we inflate bursts. So at this point, the bubble's still being inflated. So you look for American Express, possibly the earnings report coming this week, to spark a move to new all-time highs for American Express. We have eBay. Love eBay here. You can see another channel. The channel's going to break to the upside. We'll see if earnings report is what does it. We have SanDisk breaking above the channel. See, this is what I think is going to happen with eBay. See how it's broken above? It's taking a little bit with SanDisk. Not as volatile a stock as eBay. And let's move on to COF. That's Capital One, which is a volatile stock, and it's probably going to break out over $70, $72. It was up 2% on Friday. That'll be earnings on Thursday. This is going to be after the bell. We're going to have Capital One, not the headliner. We have Chipotle Mexican Grill, which is coming back to all-time highs here. Beautiful move, and you can see it's back on autopilot like it's been numerous times in the past. We have ISRG, which is going to be volatile because the stock has been down almost 40% from its highs recently. And then we have Google. Google's going to be interesting because Google, I have all these lines here. We have a lot of support, a lot of resistance. I have to change my settings here. Do you see I have the channel tool up? Hello! But anyway, the point I'm trying to make right now, we are bumping up against the trend line. We need to break above that. I think ultimately Google's going to be a $1,000 stock. It's going to follow in the footsteps of Priceline. So that's after the bell on Thursday. That's going to be interesting. That's not this Thursday. That's next Thursday. It's going to be an interesting earnings week next week. Let's just look at the market really from a shorter term perspective. I just want to say that the market still, to me, is going to head higher. We're going to break above the 170 this week. We tried last week and failed. The government's obviously it's a stalemate. Disgusting for them to hang over our heads their problems. The fact that they can't come to an agreement. Okay, their job as politicians is to come to an agreement. Do your job. Do it, and don't hold your bickering and your inability to do your job over the heads of all the Americans that you represent who pay your salary. All right, UPB here from OptionMillionaires.com.